The witch hunts of Europe, spanning from the 1400s to the 1700s, were a dark and terrifying chapter in European history. These hunts were driven by a combination of religious fanaticism, social tensions, and a widespread belief in witchcraft. During this period, tens of thousands of people, predominantly women, were accused of practicing witchcraft and subsequently executed, often by burning, hanging, or drowning. The witch hunts began in the late Middle Ages but intensified during the early modern period. The Malleus Maleficarum, 1487, a handbook written by Heinrich Kramer, played a significant role in shaping the witch hunts by providing guidelines on identifying and prosecuting witches. The book encouraged the persecution of women, associating them with the devil and accusing them of practicing harmful magic, known as maleficium. Religious conflicts, such as the Protestant Reformation and the Catholic Counter-Reformation, also fueled the hunts. Both sides accused their enemies of being in league with witches, and the chaos of war and plague heightened people's fears, making them more likely to turn against each other. Accusations of witchcraft were often based on superstition, jealousy, or local disputes. Once accused, individuals faced brutal interrogations and torture to extract confessions. Torture methods, such as the rack, thumbscrews, and sleep deprivation, were commonly used to force suspects to admit to making pacts with the devil, attending witch sabbaths, and engaging in harmful magic. Trials were often unfair, with accusations being enough to condemn someone to death. The Inquisition, although primarily concerned with heresy, also became involved in prosecuting witches, particularly in Catholic regions. Courts across Europe held public executions to serve as a warning to others, stoking fear and encouraging further accusations. The largest and deadliest witch hunts occurred in areas of intense religious and political turmoil, including Germany, Switzerland, and France. In Germany alone, an estimated 25,000 people were executed for witchcraft. The Würzburg and Bamberg trials, 1626 to 1631, are infamous for their brutality, where entire families, including children, were put to death. Scandinavia, particularly Sweden and Finland, also witnessed large-scale witch hunts, such as the Torsaker witch trials, 1675, where 71 people were beheaded and burned. Scotland and England saw their own waves of trials, with the North Berwick witch hunts, 1590, involving royal interest, as King James VI of Scotland, later James I of England, became personally involved in hunting witches. By the late 17th century, skepticism towards witch hunts began to grow. The Age of Enlightenment and the scientific revolution encouraged people to question the existence of witchcraft. Legal reforms also limited the use of torture, making it harder to force confessions. Prominent intellectuals, such as Johann Weyer and Reginald Scott, spoke out against the persecution of witches, arguing that accused individuals were often mentally ill or falsely accused. The last major witch trials occurred in the early 1700s, though smaller hunts persisted in rural areas until later. The end of the witch hunts marked a turning point in European history, reflecting the shift towards reason and away from superstition. The European witch hunts left a lasting scar on society. The mass persecution, especially of women, is now seen as one of history's most tragic examples of how fear and ignorance can lead to devastating consequences. Today, the witch hunts serve as a reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria, prejudice, and the abuse of power.